Hey, welcome to this D6 Woman Sports. If you like what you hear, please like, share, and subscribe. And welcome to my channel. Well, lately it's been kind of hating going on with the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks. We got coaches complaining about Don having too many McDonald's All-Americans, which is kind of crazy because all of the top teams at least have 3 or 4 McDonald's All-Americans on their team. So I don't know what's the complaint about. It's kind of weird. And it's just kind of was an article right after they lost to UConn in a major way. And once again, a certain major sports channel who seems to always have something negative to say. Either some of the commentators or the writers have something to say. And let me share my screen. So it says, USC Gamecocks women's basketball. There should be concern in Columbia. And this is from ESPN following the big loss to UConn. And so once again, everybody else can lose, but when South Carolina loses, it's a big, like a big uproar. We all know the late great Pat Summitt lost big games, and even in the regular season before the tournament, and nobody said the sky is falling with the Vols. The last 7 to 8 years, Gino has not won a championship. I think it's since 2018. And so nobody said the sky is falling but him. But every time the Gamecocks lose, oh my God, the sky is falling and they can't win a championship. Now, let's think about it. The year before last, 2023, they lost a lot of starters on that team, including Leah Boston, and they was not expected to even make it to the Final Four. Not only did they make it to the Final Four, they went undefeated, and they won a national championship, of course. So when you doubt the South Carolina Gamecocks, they always come through. Or if they don't, they still going to put up a good fight. So I don't know why this article was written, but it was. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. About the article. So it says the South Carolina Gamecocks earned a third loss on the season this past weekend, which was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, when UConn defeated them 87-58. It's South Carolina's third loss to a top 10 team this season, and according to a major news outlet, it calls for major concerns. Now, it's normal. They lost. They won more than they lost. They beat a lot of ranked teams this year. They went on a mini gauntlet, as they say. Many of those games was on the road, and they handled those other teams very well. So I don't understand the cause for concern. They lost to UCLA earlier in the season on the road. They lost to Texas on the road. And 2 out of those 3 losses was blowouts. 1 wasn't. And they lost to UConn at home. Now, my take on the losses is the reason why they lost this game. Sometimes they're so talented that they think they can turn it on and off. They have so much McDonald's All-Americans. They start out kind of slow. And with teams like UConn, Texas, and UCLA, it could be very dangerous. A lot of those teams, most of those teams, with the exception of UConn, has big girls, and they are a little bit smaller. South Carolina, they don't play the big girls. They have Sakima Walker and Adele Tack. They're still recovering from little injuries they have. But I noticed a pattern. If they start off fast and play the way I know they could play, they could beat these teams. They started off slow. The other teams shot at least 50% behind the 3-point line. They also was out rebounded, and they didn't get any offensive rebounds. Of course, they missed Camilla. She graduated. She left, and they also had an injury to Ashlyn Swakin Watkins. So that affected how they play defense. So they still only had 3 losses on the season. There's no shame in losing to these teams. I think they would do better tournament time. Sometimes you see a team once, and they kind of it's kind of like an avalanche that happened to them. It was like these teams was just shooting the ball. You kind of shoot, but the way they were shooting it at Colonial Life was like amazing for a road team. So that's kind of anomaly, as they say. And I don't think a Don-Staley-led team would have that problem. The rebounding, they just have to box out. They have some good rebounders. You know, still have Chloe Kitts out there. Got Sanaya Fagan. Even Raven and Bree has been known to rebound. And also, I think, Raven in these games didn't score. She didn't score in a UConn game. She didn't score many in the UCLA game or the Texas game. And I think if she can just hit her open shots, she's getting open shots. Bree's getting her open shots. Tessa is getting her open shots. So hopefully we get the tournament. Tessa and Raven Johnson, they usually play good when tournament time hits. So if they ever face these teams again, I have no doubt that the outcome might be different. And it's definitely not going to be a blowout. And so I want to show another part of the story. They put narratives out there about the fans should kind of temper their excitement. They're not going to win a championship or even make it far in the tournament, and I don't understand that. You know, these teams they lost to is no slouches. It's not like they lost to a team that was unranked or anything like that. They just had to do what we all know they can do. Use their talent. Use a lot more Joyce and Lay. Rebound, hit your open shots. They play good defense. Like I said, UConn, and especially UConn and UCLA, they just shot the ball very well. The Texas game was very close. It was a very winnable game. That was not a blowout. So Texas lost to by 15 to the Gamecocks earlier before they lost on the road. So, in the game against UConn, they shot 17.6% from 3 and 37% from the field. They turned the ball over 12 times. Yes, it was a lot of missed shots. They cannot get their outside shots going. Powell usually hit these shots. Tessa usually hit her shots. Of course, Raven had a few shots that did not go in. Did not rebound very well. They look kind of lost on offense. They had a lot of turnovers, and that's very rare for this team. So I'm not understanding why it's concerned. It's like I said, Gino, Kim, they can have all this. I think Don in the last, I would say, the dominance that they had the last 5 or 6 years, people when they lose is like, oh my God, the world is ending. And so it seems like when she lose, it's not they being too harsh. They grade her on a harsher level. They grade this South Carolina on a harsher level. So when they lose, it's just like, oh my God, they lost. The world is ending, and good teams lose. And like I said, they didn't. There's no shame. They lost to some pretty good teams, and they shot the ball very well. Those teams from three, they're just on fire. So when you shoot like they did, like 57% from the field, then it's cause for concern when you have to get your shot off. So I don't understand why this reporter Charlie Creamy or whatever made this. I guess he wanted to be controversial. This team in the last, I would say, 5 or 6 years only lost 6 games. That's a pretty good thing, and they went undefeated last year. And yes, this team is different to a certain extent. They still have a lot of talent, and they just have to play defense, rebound, and it could be anybody. Of course, there's no dominant teams. I don't even think last year they was dominant. Most times when they was down in those games, but they found a way to win. So I don't understand how you tell the fans of South Carolina to be concerned, and be concerned for what? What are they being concerned about? So it's kind of weird. So even Don, was very truthful. She said if we was grading on a college grading system, the team would have got an F. I think in that game of UConn, the avalanche was so much, and they kept missing their shots, that it kind of deflated the team. But like I said, if they play these teams again, I would say I would not bet against Don Staley. So I don't understand why it's cause for concern. So the article go on to say that the cause for concern is the fact that they're not rebounding, the shot selection is not falling. But like I said, you still got Tournament Tessa. I think she would break out of her slump. You still have Powell. She would break out of her slump. I think Reverend Johnson would definitely play better and hit her open shots and be more aggressive. Lay, nobody, when you really look at the teams, could stop her. If they give her a little more playing time, I think she can definitely cause some matchup problems. Joyce can cause some matchup problems, even though she's a freshman, because of the way she plays. She's a big body. She's country strong. And those two players alone can really guide the seniors. You have Sanaya Fagan, double machine. So is Chloe. She just came off a double. So I expect this team to be different than what they was when they played these 3 teams. Especially if they ever get a chance to play UCLA again, and if they get a chance to play UConn again, it will definitely be a better defensive effort. The turnovers will be down, and they definitely will shoot better. So I don't understand this article. 3 losses. I mean, with a team that always finds a way to win. They've been very efficient for the last 8 years with their defense. So I'm not really concerned. I don't understand this article, but that's all I want to say about this subject. So South Carolina fans, be concerned. You don't have to be concerned. Hey, they'll be okay. So this is Miss D for 6 Women Sports, and I'm out.